poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 3 Episode 6 review. I drop videos Monday through Sunday. Everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously. So if that works for you, then let's get into tonight's review. So the episode begins with us seeing Jen and Coach Shaw. He takes her to like this little jumpy fun zone type place, and she looking at him like, motherfucker, do I look like I'm two? Why are you bringing me to a jumbo size jump house? Like, what the hell? But they end up having a good time. It takes her mind off of all the lies her ass had been telling. At this point, I still need to know what Coach knew at this time. Did he know the truth that her ass was lying and was just, supporting her? Or was she literally lying to her husband the whole time, saying that she was not guilty? I need an interview with Coach Shaw. I need all the smoke. She thanks him for, supporting her and always trying to keep her spirits up and everything. And, he loves her. So he's like, I'm going to be here for you regardless. So she then tells him about this Instagram page called Shaw Expose that had been trolling her for the longest time, but she never brought it up until recently because Lisa Barlow was the one that told her that apparently Angie Harrington's husband Chris was the one behind it. So he like, what? Like, we ain't never did none of them. Like, why is he attacking you, like, in our family? Like, what is that about? So she was like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I need to, like, what's going on? Like, why is Angie and her husband, including me in this bullshit? Because they're not only attacking me, but they're attacking Lisa as well. So it was all very much confusing for her. We then head over to Whitney's home, and she relays this story about how one day she was having this really horrible day. She needed a break. She dropped the kids off after picking them up from school, and she just sat in the parking space at their home, the driveway, and she was just like in a horrible mood. Like, it was a horrible day for her. And her husband pulled up, and she was like, babe, I need a break. Like, I'm going through it. Today ain't been right. And he was like, well, girl, my day is going horrible too because I just got fired. And she looking like, excuse you, what you say? Because she was like, she don't make the same money that her husband makes. And on top of that, they had invested majority, if not all of their money into her skincare product, Wild Rose, last year. And she was like, they're just not barely recovering from that. So like, how are they about to survive just off her housewives' paycheck? So he lets her know that the reason why he was fired, even though he was the top guy in his field, like nobody else could fuck with him. Everybody looked up to him. Like, he was that guy. He was Top Gun in his, field. But his employers said that the reason why they had to let him go is because Whitney is a public figure. And it all clicked for me at this point. And her mouth dropped like, I know you lying. Like, that's what they said. And he was like, yeah. And she was like, I guess, the straw that took the camel's back was that Love is Art thing that they did last season where they was painting each other's bodies, and he had on some shorts and that was it. And she just had on a bikini and they was rubbing all up on each other, and she up here, making, sex noises and shit. And I'm like, yeah, girl. Yeah, I don't know why y'all would film something like that on national TV knowing that he works for a conservative company. Make it make sense. It was already bad enough that you was going on, stripper poles and shit like that. Like, and y'all live in conservative Mormon country. Like, what on God's green earth were you all thinking? Yeah, you need to be yourself, and this is a part of who you are, but y'all should have thought about that and made precautions for that in case something like this happened, which means that y'all shouldn't invested all your money into that Wild Rose bullshit. Because now what you gonna do? Unless he's able to find another job at another place, you know what I'm saying? So I fully understood why they fired him. I don't know if that's legal. Can you fire someone because of what their wife does for a living? I don't know if that's ethical or not, but the writing was on the wall, girl. I don't know what the hell you were thinking. Heather is up next. In the beginning of the episode, she has decided to start a grown-up adult choir to take her back to her roots, even though, you know, she has left the Mormon church. Well, she's sitting down. I believe at this scene she was talking to her business partner, and she says how she's been struggling writing her autobiography because at one moment she wants to tell it all, and then she feels like she's telling too much. So then she tries to water it down, but then she feels like she's being fake, and she really doesn't want to have the book tarnish what is left of her relationship with her family. But on top of that, she feeling some type of way about Lisa because Lisa tweeted out her father's obituary to, in fact, show that she lied, that Heather lied on her at last year's reunion, when at the reunion she said that on the day her dad died, Lisa sent her a text message saying, "I hope your dad is feeling better." But in actuality, she said that like 2 days before he passed or whatever. Why now? Well, why then? When this was filmed, like, what was the point? What was the point? Like, if you was gonna show the real true tea, you should have did that like the day of the fucking reunion or when the reunion aired. Why months later? Like, that makes absolutely no sense to me. And at the end of the day, somebody passed away. Somebody passed away. So it's just like, have a little bit of respect. Like, people be really playing with folks' families on these damn reality shows. Like, at the end of the day, bitch, my father died, and you're trying to get back at me by showing whether or not you said this on what day and da 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 da, and then adding my daddy obituary. Like, really, bitch? Like, really? That's what we doing? But at the same time, you know, Heather at the reunion was trying to make her look bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what do you do? But my question is, was it worth it? Was it worth it to justify your, I guess, innocence? So after that whole situation on social media, her cousin, who had just accompanied her on the ski trip that the cast had went on, now, you know, came to her saying, "I don't want no parts of this. I don't want my business exposed." And she backed away from her. So now she really feels like she's alone. And at this point, she done fucking with Lisa, and she was like, she lost me forever. And she had invited her to be in the choir, and she was like, you know, I hope she don't even come because it's gonna be awkward, and I don't even want to deal with that right now. And I'm like, ooh, Lord, y'all just a mess, child. Brand new besties, Whitney and Lisa. Shocking. But I'm like, you know damn well the only reason why Lisa is even entertaining Whitney is because nobody else in the cast fucks with her, and Whitney would have to be an absolute fool to think that this lady actually likes her. Lisa don't give a damn about none of these hoes. Lisa only care about herself, but Whitney's so goddamn stupid and gullible, she just gonna go wherever the wind blows. However, they did a yoga class with each other, and after the yoga class, they sat down and talked, and Whitney beat all around the mulberry bush about her husband getting fired from her job. She refused to say the word that he got fired. But Lisa, her confession was like, girl, I already know. It's all over the internet, like, but she was like, I'm just going to keep my mouth quiet about it. I ain't going to even bust her little bubble or whatever. That just cracked me up that she did not want to tell that lady that her husband had gotten fired. So Whitney then brings up the whole obituary tweet and asks her, like, why did you do it? And Lisa was like, because she lied on me. And Whitney was like, but to go to an extent, to go that low below the belt, like, once again, was it worth it? And Lisa was like, the intention was to clear my name. And so Whitney was like, I still feel like you need to have a conversation with Heather about the whole situation. So she was like, okay, I'm going to go to the auditions for the choir rehearsal, you know, the choir group anyway, and I'm going to confront her. One thing I can say, even with them being on the outs at this point, Heather and Whitney, at least she still respected her cousin enough to try to stick up for her and tell Lisa, you know, that was kind of fucked up what you did. Like, that wasn't that necessary. Then see Meredith, her husband, Angie, and her husband, Chris, they all go out to dinner with each other. And Meredith in her confessional says that she would have been closer to Angie by now if it hadn't have been for Lisa. Lisa not fucking with her, caused her to not fuck with her. But now that her and Lisa don't fuck with each other, she's basically free to be friends with who she wants at this point. So Angie even admits in her confessional that her and Meredith have trauma bonded because both of them have gotten into it with Lisa and now they homegirls. So Angie goes on to bring up this whole rumor that Whitney said that she said at this jazz games that Lisa gave out sexual favors for Utah Jazz tickets, child. She was like, I never said that. Did I have a conversation about with Whitney about Lisa receiving Utah Jazz tickets? Yes, but I never said for sexual favors. So Angie then turns to her husband and was like, do you think it has something to do with Instagram? And so Meredith and her husband looking like, what the fuck is you talking about? So Angie goes on to explain that her husband got frustrated because they were being attacked on social media. And she said that the accounts were basically saying things that she'd only talked to Lisa about. So she figured that, Lisa was behind all this. And her husband was like, I got super frustrated. I was super angry. So I created a fake account. And Meredith and her husband just looking at him like, you said what now? Like, you did what? Like, are you like, you gotta be playing. And he was like, there's no manual for defending your wife on social media. No, it's not. But you're a grown adult man. If you want to defend your wife on social media, simply defend your wife on social media via your account. If you don't want to have people saying stuff back to you, simply turn off the comments. Like, how hard is that? Like, what grown ass adult person sits up here and makes fake Instagram accounts to defend your wife? Like, make it make sense. It does not. It does not at all. So Meredith was like, yeah, I think it's not great that you created a fake account, but I've been through the same thing with Lisa. And I was like, okay, at least she, tried to hold him accountable. But at the same time, she's had these issues with Lisa as well. And we all know Lisa be on some bullshit. Lisa is a fucking walking troll, even though I think Lisa has great fashion sense that I'm obsessed with. So Chris was like, I admit it, I just want to move on. Okay, at least he admitted it, but at the same time, that's some weirdo shit, like straight up weirdo shit that you was on. Heather visits Jen at her new humble abode where she had recently threw a birthday party for a 5-year-old and it was alien themed, but I'm like, you sure it wasn't Heather themed, because Heather and the aliens looked very much alike in the face, which goes to show you she needs to lay off the Botox and fillers and the pushes and the pulls. Like, Jesus the Christ. You already know I think she looked like Meatloaf. So Jen sits down with Heather and was like, there has been this Shaw Exposed account on social media that's been attacking me for like the last year. I didn't want to tell you about it because I didn't want to bother you with all of this, but I feel like now I need to tell you. So she tells Heather that, Lisa came to me and told me about this account and that she said that Chris Harrington was behind this. But I didn't believe her at the time until she said that she confronted Angie about it. And Angie was like, no, that's not true or whatever. But she said right after that, she immediately got a phone call from Angie's husband, Chris, where he admitted he was behind the account and that, he was sorry, this, that, and the third. And she was like, well, why did you name it Shaw Exposed? Like, what was that about? And he was like, well, the name was available, so that's why I did it. Mind you, this man is 50-something years old. Like, I just cannot with the ignorance. So Heather is shocked because Heather is cool with Angie. And Jen was like, when it comes to Angie, you need to be aware, And she was like, of course. And I'm figuring she never brought it up to me because it would be an awkward conversation. And she knows how much I love you. And she was just like, I just can't believe this. Like, she was genuinely shocked by the whole situation. Now, I can understand why she would have an issue with Angie. But I don't know what beef she has with Jen that her husband would involve Jen in it. Maybe it's something we don't know. Maybe it's something we'll find out this season. But the whole situation was just weird. Weirdo shit. So it's the day of Heather's choir auditions. Only 5 people showed up. I don't know what in the hell was the point of this. Child, she could have had all them damn kids that was being born season 1 by her damn workers show up. It was like 10 of them at least. Child, wasn't nobody there. Wasn't nobody there but a bunch of freaks and geeks. So Jen and Meredith come to help out, and everybody's excited. Jen and Meredith go out because they supposed to be the Ryan Seacrest of this thing. They go out to talk to the auditioners, only to see that Whitney and Angie are there in fucking cabaret outfits. And Jen is looking like, why the fuck is she here when I just sat up here and told Heather about what this hoe did? So she feeling some type of way. So on next week episode, it's about to be a whole fiasco. Everybody's about to be arguing and getting into it with each other, and it's about to be a hot diggity damn mess. Overall, I'll give tonight's episode a C minus. It was kind of like a filler episode for me. Next week is when we're going to get into that action, and I'm excited about it. Let me know what you all thought of tonight's episode of Salt Lake. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.